Hey friends, Miss K again. Today I'm back to read more of The Earth Dragon Awakes by Laurence Yep. Today I'm going to be reading pages 72 through 81. 2:30 p.m., Wednesday, April 18th, 1906, San Francisco. 3 huge fires burn in San Francisco. One swallows up the south. The other sweeps toward Chinatown in the east. But the ham and egg fire is the worst. It swallows whole city blocks. It grows fatter than its brothers. The firemen try to stop it, but it is too big and there are too few of them. They have little water. The fire sweeps around them. It swallows up the ruins of City Hall. Before it devours the gigantic mechanics pavilion, the patients are taken out in time. But the books and manuscripts stored there are all lost. The wisdom of ages turns to ashes. All the firemen can do is retreat again. 3:00 p.m., Wednesday, April 18th, 1906, from the Travis's house to northern San Francisco. The flames form walls on 3 sides now. The air becomes hotter and hotter. Ash and embers swirl all around them. "We have to go," Mrs. Travis insists. There are tears in Mr. Travis's eyes. He takes one last look at their house and then nods. "You're right." Mrs. Travis bites her lip. "We could save more if we only had a cart or wagon." Henry sees the ladder by the Smith's house. Then he thinks of his new skates. "We can make our own. We can tie the ladder to my roller skates. They're in my room." His mother shakes her head. "The stairs are too rickety." "I'm light," Henry points out. "Absolutely not," his father says. His parents search for something with wheels. Henry waits. When their backs are turned, he runs into the house. It creaks around him. He can smell gas. Still, he goes to the stairs. It tilts to the side. He goes up. The first step groans under him. It wobbles precariously. "Henry, come back here," his mother calls. He can hear his father coming for him. It is now or never. Henry dashes up the stairs. Each tread moans in protest under his feet. Then the whole staircase begins to shake. He holds on tight to the railing. "Come down here this instant," his father demands from the bottom of the stairs. "You're going to spank me anyway, so I might as well come down with the skates," Henry insists. He starts to climb again. The stairs wobble back and forth. He slips near the top, but is able to crawl onto the second floor. Everything is jumbled together in his room. Henry throws books and toys around. The remaining walls look as shaky as the stairs. Finally, he finds his skates. He races back into the hallway. His father looks up at him, worried. Mr. Travis tries to support the staircase. "Hurry!" Henry grips the railing again. He stumbles down the steps. They sway like a boat deck in a storm. His mother grabs him from the bottom step. "You are a very, very bad boy," she scolds. "But I'm very proud of you." She draws him outside. His father quickly lashes the skates to the ladder. They pile all they can on it. They take along pots, a frying pan, dishes, silverware, food, and clothes. They will have to leave most of their belongings behind. "I should have gotten blankets instead of this, but this will have to do." Mr. Travis adds his grandmother's lace tablecloth to the pile. Mrs. Travis holds up her umbrellas. "We can't leave these behind." "They'll just add weight," Mr. Travis complains. "We'll need these," Mrs. Travis insists. "I feel it in my bones." Mr. Travis grumbles, but he adds the umbrellas. As a last precaution, Henry wraps a rope around his waist. Then he ties the other end to Sawyer's collar. The smoke shuts out the sky. In the haze, the sun looks like a bright ruby. Mrs. Travis's flowers in the window boxes glow like coral. Mr. Travis pulls their makeshift cart with a rope. Mrs. Travis and Henry push from behind. The last of their neighbors are deserting their homes too. They walk to a big unburned street. A river of people flows north, away from the relentless flames. The street is jammed. The Travises cannot move fast. The ladder is hard to steer, too. Then someone's cart breaks down. Everyone moves around it. Desperately, its owners try to fix it. Sawyer has trouble walking. His legs are too short, so Henry slings him around his shoulders. They pass by sandlots full of tired people sitting like statues upon their trunks and boxes. They are too weary to move. However, they refuse to abandon their belongings. They simply watch as the fire comes toward them. Mr. Travis shouts at them to leave. They ignore him. Other people begin to lighten their loads. They drop clothes, frying pans, pillows, even couches and chairs. The litter becomes an obstacle course. The Travises have to dodge around them. Behind them, the fire grows. Above it, black smoke fans outward like a hair. Suddenly, the street explodes. Cobblestones whiz everywhere. People scream. Mr. Travis falls. Flames burn upward from the new hole. Mr. Travis sits up. His arm is bruised. "I smell gas," he says. "The earthquake must have broken the gas main." He gets up. They start forward again. Boom, boom, boom! More spots blow up. More stones fly through the air. They duck and keep moving on. The east is hidden in smoke and flame. Henry hopes Chin has gotten away in time. 3:00 p.m. to 4:00 p.m. Wednesday, April 18th, 1906, San Francisco. Most of the cisterns are empty now. The fire wagons cannot pump enough water from the bay to stop the 3 big fires. Creating a fire break is one way to battle a fire. A big space is cleared. With nothing to burn, the flames stop. In a few places that morning, the firemen have already used dynamite to create fire breaks. They blew up whole buildings. The flames could not spread across the rubble. Now the firemen make a desperate decision. They will dynamite everywhere. But soon, near Chinatown, they run out of dynamite and have to switch to black gunpowder instead. But the firemen are not sure how much powder to use. They put too much in a burning building on the eastern side of Chinatown. The explosion sends flaming fragments high in the air. They rain down all over Chinatown. Fires quickly sprout up on a dozen roofs. A dozen becomes 24, and then 3. In no time, all of Chinatown is blazing. Again, the firemen pull back. 8:00 p.m., Wednesday, April 18th, 1906, North San Francisco. The Travises have fled to the northern edge of San Francisco. The waters of the bay roll by, cold and swift. They squeeze into a field with everyone else. Nearby, Fort Mason is full of soldiers. Next to them, a big man sings a song in German to his wife and daughter. His little concertina looks like a toy in his huge hands. On their left, a Mexican family makes dinner by a campfire. The mother makes tortillas on a flat rock. Henry has never heard so many languages. The whole world seems to have camped here. Some have brought tents. Others make them out of sticks and blankets. Mr. Travis makes a tent out of one umbrella and the tablecloth. He jams the shaft into the dirt and opens the top. Then he spreads the tablecloth over it. The fine lace is like a giant spider web. "I told you the umbrellas would come in handy," Mrs. Travis says. Mr. Travis winks at his son. Then he teases his wife. "All right, maybe they were useful just this once. It is almost like a gigantic picnic, but there is no safe water for Henry. The only water is in the bay. It is too salty to drink. There is plenty of liquor, but Henry cannot touch it. Some adults do, and they get very noisy. Soon, everyone grows silent. Flames fringe the hilltops. Smoke towers over them. It is like a giant black worm. It swallows the moon and the stars. Henry hugs Sawyer. His pet licks the soot from his face. Nearby, a man holds up a picture of St. Francis toward the flames. San Francisco was named after that saint. The man's thick black beard twitches on his chin as he prays loudly in Italian. The fire seems like a living monster now. It has taken their homes. Now it wants them. It reaches out fiery paws. But they can run no farther. The bay is behind them. No one knows what to do. They watch the fire creep toward them.